is Catherine Elizabeth, and this video is for inspiring creative women. I set this up because I'm creative, like I'm a milliner, obviously, and I've been doing it for over 10 years now, well, more like 17, 18 years, and I love it, absolutely love hats, obsessed with hats, obsessed with creating and designing, and I've been helped in the past, and this is, Inspiring Creative Women is to give back and help other people like you. So if you're setting up in your own business, or you've already got your own creative business, and you want to expand it, and you want to build it, then these videos are for you. We've also got a group, which is Inspiring Creative Women, sort of, what do you say, like a members group. It's a community where we all can help each other. You can write in there, put your own tips and things in there, ask advice, things like that. Hi Amanda, thanks for joining. I think it's above, isn't it? So if you click on the button above, then that will take you to the group, and then you can join that later on after this video. So that's a little bit about what Inspiring Creative Women is, who I am, Catherine Elizabeth, designer. It's to help you and expand, and we want to really keep the group, grow the group and make it bigger and bigger and help as many as we can and more people. You don't have to be a milliner, you could be a bag designer, a shoe designer, just a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, an amazing, person that can come along and give us advice or have advice. You could be selling products, you could be selling your work on Etsy, you could have a website, you could be doing anything really. It's just for creative women to get together and help each other, and creative as well, also graphic design, people who are even coaches, because you're also creative, you're also doing marketing, so that is a creative thing. So all come along anyway and help each other. That's it. So found you. Yeah, so I've changed it now. I used to always do it on the main Facebook page because most of my followers are on there, so then we can get momentum and build up and get lots of people knowing about these videos. But now I think just about everybody who wants the videos has gone into Inspiring Creative Women, so this is where I'm going to be putting them from now on, because this is where they should be, and then we'll be sharing it on the main page and sharing it in the group. And if you know anybody who would like this sort of information or would like to know about us and know a bit more, then please share it and then bring more people in. So afterwards share this post. Or actually you can share it now, I think, and so people can watch along with us. Hi Jamie, hi, thanks for joining. Okay, so today is 10 tips to help you with your blog. So you might already have a blog, you might be starting a blog. Yeah, you might have had one for a while, it's not doing that well, or maybe it's doing amazingly well and you just want to see what I've got to say. So these are just a few tips that I found that have sort of helped me and just put it into perspective. There is a lot more, and I once did a 30-day blog challenge, so if I can find the lady that's doing that, I'll put it in the notes below, because that was really good. And every day you got an email, and then you helped you along your way, and there's just so many different tips to it. But this is just 10 for today. I hope you like it. Also, I've got a blog post which I've done on doing these, all about blogs, and there's about 4 or 5 different good points in there. So that we'll put up tomorrow, so that's a new blog post, and then you can read all of that as well. But these are different. So first, number 1, think about your target market. So that's like the first thing you need to do. Who are you aiming your blog to? Who are you trying to attract? What do you want to get out of it? Are you trying to get customers for your items? Are you giving advice? Are you teaching? So you're doing more, so say I did millinery classes, then I would put my blogs around sort of more learning. If I was doing my Catherine Elizabeth side as a hat designer, I would do my blogs more on design. We do colours, talk about things that match. Sometimes I'll put up a hat I've made. So we have tips and things about what's going on in the world of millinery. Hat Week's coming up in March, we should do one about that. So that could go into the Catherine Elizabeth. It depends what your blog is and who you're trying to attract. So just think about that first and get your first base so you know where you are and who you're trying to get. Also a catchy title, so that's always really good. So 10 tips to do this, 5 tips to do that. You could actually go to news headlines and find ones that you quite like, ones that have caught your eye, and then change the wording for you. So if it's today, 10 tips to blogging success or something, 10 tips to millinery success. I mean, that's really simple, but you take their headline, something that's in one of the big newspapers that you might see coming up tomorrow, I like that. And just use the same format but change some of the words for yourself. So then you know that that headline is already a good one, and it's going to be catchy for people already. So catchy title, and include a benefit in it. So if it can be something that's going to help someone, then that in your title, then that's good. So let them know what they're going to get out of it at the end of the day. They're not going to get anything until they read it, but if they did read it, they would get this. So that's really good to sort of straight off the bat tell them what benefit they'll get. Number 2, be yourself. So your content draws them in, but your personality keeps them there. I thought that was quite good. So, your content draws people in and people are going to read, but then it's your personality that keeps them there. So if you're nice and happy and bubbly, you put a little bit of yourself in the blog, it's more chatty, it's more easygoing, then people are going to follow you because they want to know what you're saying next time. If it's too journalistic and too fact-based, and there isn't any of you in there, or isn't any other writing other than just facts, then that would be really interesting to people. But they might think, okay, I've got that information, and forget about you for next time. They might not come back again so easily. So if you just put a bit of yourself in there, put a few words at the top, and maybe some at the bottom as well, and even a bit in between, you can just mix it in, but a little bit of personality, a little bit more easy, more chatty. Ask questions if you want to. So that keeps people coming back. Number 3, include images. So that's important. Me, I'm quite visual. I like a really good image at the top. Then some words, and then if you're just streaming down loads and loads of text, you start going off. You're not bored because the content's boring, but your brain automatically just turns off and wants to do something else. So if you've got a visual in there, then people go, oh, stop, change, your mind's changed a bit, okay, we've got visuals, keep looking down. Then you might have some pointers, another image, good visual. So if you can put them in, that always helps because it keeps people focused, keeps people reading, and then they get to the end, which is where you want them to be. Because then you can give them an offer, you can direct them somewhere else where you want them to go. So you want them to get to the bottom of your post. Including images is always better for blogs. Number 4, respond to blog comments. So if anybody writes something really nice at the bottom, or even if it's not nice, then you respond to that. You can answer their question, even just say to people, thank you for commenting, appreciate that. It always helps in Google search as well. So if you're commenting, they're commenting, and somebody else is going to comment back, then it helps it go up and helps on SEO things. So respond to blog comments. 5, post on social media. So that's quite obvious, but you've done your blog, but you then want to get it out on your Facebook and your Twitter, and you want your friends to share it. You want, you maybe want to find an influencer who could share it, somebody that's got a lot of followers, and you just say, it might be a friend, maybe somebody you don't know, maybe somebody you met on Facebook, and you can just say, would you mind sharing my blog, because I think it might be interesting for your readers. And then if they say, oh yeah, that could be interesting, thank you. Do that, and then you might get a few hundred other people looking at your blog. You never know. So find other people who can then share it, and you also share it on all your social medias. Oh, Amanda say, oh good, this is something. Yes, Amanda. And look out for the blog post as well, which we'll put up tomorrow. Right, respond to blog comments, post everything on social media. 6, post weekly if you can. So some people post every day, but you've got to be realistic about your schedule. So I could no way post every day. I even find it hard posting once a week. But I say with the Inspiring Creative Women, I'd like to do that. So I'd like to post once a week. Catherine Elizabeth, I'd probably post every 2 weeks. Millinery House every 2 weeks as well. So if we're just sort of getting one together with my other, the Catherine's with the Millinery House, at least we've got one week and one the next week on each side of the business. And the Inspiring Creative Women, I try and do one a week because we want to build that up as well. Weekly, so try not to have a break in between, which I've made the mistake of, but sometimes you can't help it, but try not to do it for week on week and have 3-week break, and then week on week, and then have a 2-week break, and then like this, because people will stop coming back. If you've got it weekly, then it just reminds them. They'll just be thinking, okay, I'm going to look out for this, I'm expecting this, and if they don't get it, they're like, oh, Okay, maybe I'll look somewhere else. So if you can do it weekly and you can schedule that, be realistic about your time and do it and stick to it every week. You know, we can't help little faults, but try. Okay, 7. Search engines like about 500 words, so this doesn't have to be every week, but if you can, try and have 500 words or more, because then that helps all the Google spiders coming in and helping your blog go up. So Google doesn't always like short blogs, so just try and keep it to 500 if you can. It doesn't have to be every week, but just maybe one a month you can have a longer blog. Count your words and just see how many you are doing, because it'd be interesting, wouldn't it, to see how many you are writing. Also, you don't have to just think everything out of your own head and just be putting that down on paper and thinking, my God, you know, I've got to fill a whole blog post with things that I know. You can write a heading, a topic, and then go and research lots of things. So there's no harm in taking things from Google, from this person, this person, this person, about the topic that you're thinking of, and then you can bring it all back to you and then put your own element into it, see what you can add, and then sort of write it out and then maybe take paragraphs out or rewrite it and just put that up. Because so don't worry about having to get everything out of your own head. Sometimes you need a little nudge and a little bit of help, and there are loads of things out there. So you could do a topic, you know, if you're doing a topic on designing or how to find clients, something for your people, then you just research that, get a good title and bring lots of things in that you can use. Okay. Number 8. What have we said before? Don't be negative. Be positive about it. So, but if you've got any political views or if you're annoyed about something, then don't put it into the blog. So don't be negative. Don't put your own point of views across that could be explosive, or other people could argue against you, which is putting a negative view across. Some people's blogs are all about that, and that's it, and people follow them for that. But if you've got a nice blog going along and then you put in this negative thing about something that's happening, that's just going to put people off. And they need to be more sort of constructive and informative, but we want them to be uplifting and sort of help, and then people feel what's that word, when you're inspired by it. So they're inspired, they want to come back because it made them feel good, and they want to come back and read more next time. So that's always good. So be positive in your blog, positive, happy, and not negative. Look at Americans, they're always hyper and they're always, you know, lovely and happy, and I just love listening to Amy Porterfield. It always makes me feel happy after listening to a 20-minute podcast from her, and I look forward to listening again. So keep it happy and positive. Okay, 9, break up paragraphs. So you've got your header, you've got all your bits and pieces. You don't want just a long list of words. Obviously you're going to have paragraphs, but then break those paragraphs up. So a normal paragraph, what's it, on an A4 bit of paper, just break that up in half, so you've got a shorter one. And then you can put bullet points in as well. So if you're doing a list, have your bullet points in. Put some headers, some subheaders in, so it's not all words. You're also going to have your images. Just you need to break it up, because when people are just looking at that, they're looking at the visuals on the blog, then you don't want their eye, like I said earlier, just to go off. You need to keep it focused. So just by changing the layout slightly into bullet points, header in black, little space, bigger space, little paragraph, bigger paragraph, that's just going to keep photographs, it's just going to keep people's eye. Obviously when we're watching telly, we've got so many images and things flying at us that we just keep staring, we keep watching it. But with a blog, it's just the words, so we want to keep the brain going. Keep everyone looking. So break up paragraphs, not too long, put in lists, headers, bullet points, make it easier to read. Then 10, try new things sometimes. So guest bloggers, you want to try new things on your blog. If you're going along on a tangent, you're talking about this and this, just put in something new now and again. So if it was me with hats, I could put in a history of hat. I could put in a designer that I really like. I could interview someone. Should do that. I can interview someone who is a milliner or somebody else who is creative. We've done that on the Inspiring Creative Women. I've interviewed a few people in our group about their business, and I put up a Inspiring Woman of the Week as well. I'm going to interview another lady soon who is, well, she's got a really good business, but it's not creative necessarily, but business side, so it's going to help. and put that in and just break it up slightly. You could put videos in as well, all your images. You could guest blog post as well, on other people's blogs, and then it's going to bring people back to you, so that's different. So you could guest blog and then you could put that blog on your blog, just link to that blog, so that'd be different. So guest bloggers, personal stories as well. If you just write one all about you, where you came from, how you started, what you're doing now, interesting things about what you're creating, stories about behind the scenes of when you're in your studio and what it looks like and what you use. Sometimes we do ones of my little space of what I'm creating that day. Might be a good social media post, but it would be a good idea to do blogs on that as well. It's a little tip. Okay, that's number 10. Blimey. So extra one, save your best tips for the end. So the audience, save your best tips for the end. Because the audience takes action at the end. So you want to put something which you might have put at the top because you thought it was really, really interesting, actually save it for the bottom. So put all your points, most interesting at the bottom, and then people will remember that. It's like when you're doing a portfolio, you have a really good picture, but you don't put your best at the beginning. You just have normal ones, mediocre ones, best at the end, because that's the last bit that people remember. So that, put your tip at the end, and also have a call to action. So maybe you want them to go to your website, maybe you want them to sign up for something, you want to send them to another blog post that you were reading about that has extra points on it. That's taking them away from you, but maybe they're just for this blog post, that could work. You might want to get them into your group or onto your Facebook, so you could just say, call to action, please follow this link and in return, you will get this at the end of your blog. Another little quote I found today. So make sure you are happy, make sure you're happy with your blog, but don't spend too much time on it, because time, if you just have your one thing for the day, it sort of tends to expand, and the whole day, you just spend the whole day on that one thing. So work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. Quote, work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. So if you say, right, I've got to write a blog today, and you've not got any other things in your head at that time, you're going to spend all day on this blog. But just mark out, say, an hour, you just research some things on your topic, come back, put it all together, have a list of your posts, write it out, and then just go through and maybe rewrite things or just add little bits and pieces in. Maybe one day you could spend an hour on that, the next day you could spend half an hour just checking it, because you can't always do it at the same time if your mind has just had enough of looking at everything. You need a fresh eye on it. So come back the next day and add in your images and go over your text, and it could take you an hour and a half and it's done. If you're doing list blogs, then that's so much easier because you're just finding things and putting them in. If you're writing a whole story, then this will take you longer, and you want to then chunk out 2 or 3 hours for it. But don't, spend too much time. Don't write it and rewrite it and change pictures, because you'll just get fed up and you'll think, oh my god, that took me all day and I can't do that every week. And then the next week you'll start putting it off. You want to make it enjoyable for yourself, enjoyable for other people. Don't spend too much time on it. And then just give a bit of your own personality back in as well. So we've got header at the beginning, at the top, really good one. Then some of your points. Break it up a bit with subheaders and some bullet points. The middle bit, is okay information. The top is interesting to get them in. The middle is okay. And then the end is like the really interesting bit, which is going to really make them come back next time because you just wowed them with your bit of info. And then call to action at the end. So that's it. I hope that helped. I will find the 30-day challenge lady who did a 30-day blog challenge, because that's really good. Any questions from anyone? How do you start a blog? Is there a site? So you can start one. Well, I changed my website over to what's it called? Squarespace, because it's got the blog in there and that's quite good for SEO. So if you go there and you set up your website, it's easy, you get templates, drop things in, and then they've got a blog on there, and then you can put in your tag words and your category words, and it's good for the SEO, and they help. They have loads and loads of videos and tutorials and things on it. Otherwise you've got WordPress, Blogspotter. I'll try and find some others for you, but there's Wix as well, and you can have a blog on that if you have your website on there. But do you have a website, Amanda? Do you have one already? Do you need to insert a blog, or could you develop one from that site? Because if you're doing one with WordPress, then you've got loads and loads of plugins, and then you can insert that into your website. So a lot of people use that. But I tried that at the beginning, but it was quite complicated to sort of learn so much about the right plugins and everything to use, and then I inserted it into my Wix, but I didn't think it looked that great. So now that's why I moved it over to Squarespace, just because I find that a bit easier. Oh, sorry, question there. Oh, no. Okay, if you have any other questions, then put them in the comments below. I'll find the answer and I'll come back to you. Also, please share this with anybody you think could gain from it. And come and join our group if you haven't done already. So my name's Catherine Elizabeth, and this is for Inspiring Creative Women. Thank you for watching. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe so you can see the next one. Okay, one more question. Just Facebook and Instagram. Okay, Amanda. So yes. So you want to build, have a look at that then, have a look at Squarespace, because I think I'm quite happy with that right now. There's lots of other platforms, but it depends if you just want a blog, which means you can go for like these, Blogger, you can do things on, what was it, the other thing I was talking about earlier. But if you actually want a website and you want it built in, then start thinking about that now. Just have a look, because there are templates, you can just put pictures up, you can just have one page, and then you can have a blog as your second page. Cost about $12.99 a month, I think that's right. And then you get the hosting in with that as well. You just need to buy your domain name. If you need any other help with that, just get back to me. Just ask below or send me a message. Alright, thank you. Have a good night. Have a lovely dinner, and speak to you again next time.